Folks, we're going to be moving in. Come on into the sanctuary, everybody. From outside and inside, one big happy mishpacha. One big happy family. Come on in, everybody. One big happy family. Come on in, everybody. For those of you that are just joining us, the Sidurim are when you walk in, they're to your right. The prayer books are to your right. Grab a Sidur, a Seder. Maybe one of the regulars will help the folks that are joining us and show them where the Sidurim are. Come on down. We always start on time here, but we're not going to tonight.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
We always start on time here, but we're not going to tonight. It's 7 o'clock. Come on in, grab a Sidur, everybody, have a seat. Wonderful, good. I wish the folks on YouTube and Facebook could see you now. They can't. They can only see us, those poor things. Come on in, everybody. Have a seat. As they say, it's nice and cool in here. Yeah. Please. But do the...
Sounds better than microphone.
No, I actually. Well, why not? I'm doing the regular. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good evening. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
We're glad you joined us. I want to tell you what's about to happen. Some people have been saying, what's going on? Well, it's simple. When you get together with family, which you all are, even the folks that are joining us right now on YouTube and Facebook, you're our mishpacha, you're our family. We're one big family. So when we gather together as a family, we begin the process together. Now, tonight we're going to start with the Kabbalat Shabbat, the beginning or the welcoming of the Shabbat together. And then it's only going to take a little bit of time, a few moments. And then what we're going to do is after the Kabbalat Shabbat, those of you younger families, children who would choose or rather to be in a different service where you're going to be dealing with Mora Alyssa and Rabbi Bernie. And who's helping you, Rabbi Bernie? Is Cassie helping you as well?
Everybody, all the parents.
All the parents, good. All the parents and kids will go downstairs. And you guys will do some Zmirot, some songs and some Shabbos melodies and some things together. So we thought we would bring everybody in now for the beginning part of our service to show you what we do when we begin a regular Shabbat service, because what you're about to see, we do every single Shabbat. We do it every single Friday night without fail, unless it's Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur.
Right.
Then we fail, but without in a regular Shabbat, this is what we do. So Rabbi, give them a little taste of what we do.
Sure. And if you can figure out the words, join me. Hey, die, 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 die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Hey, die, 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 da, da, die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Yeah, die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Yeah, die. Yeah, die, 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 die.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, die, 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 die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Yeah, die, 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 da, da, die. Yeah, die, 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 die.
This is something we don't do every Shabbat. Well, this. We do this. Bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum, bum, bum. Bim, bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum.
Bim, bum.
Shabbat
Shalom, hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat
Shalom.
Shabbat, Shabbat,
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat, Shalom. Hey.
Shabbat, Shalom.
Yes.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat,
Shalom.
Bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum. Yai, die, 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 bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bim. Woo! Right on key. That was excellent. And now what we do every week, because, you know, sometimes weeks are filled with work. Sometimes weeks are filled with work and hard things. Sometimes we hear good news. Sometimes we hear not so good news. Sometimes people are happy. Sometimes people are sad. So we always start our Shabbat off with good news, right? Only
agree.
Good news.
Good news. Good
Rabbi
news.
Bernie's going to lead that tonight.
Yes. Anybody have good news tonight? There must be. Oh, I see someone in the back. I'll come. Oh, no, well, you know, we have a young adult here. If you wouldn't mind, if you would state your name and what the good news is.
Okay, my name is Stephanie, and the good news is I have a puppy.
Okay, that's it. Well, is that good news for the whole family?
Well, it's kind of, yes, but like,
Good news.
You never know with a puppy.
So my good news is that we had an absolutely awesome barbecue tonight, and thank you for everyone who helped, and thank you for everyone who coming. It was fun. So thank you.
Yay.
Nicely done. And thank you all. Of course, well, thank you again for all the people that did the preparation, getting everything ready. Some more good news? I'm sure we have much more.
Anybody else with good news?
Yes, we have some.
I asked Rabbi Bernie to do the schlepping tonight. It's too many,
That's right. He's holding the guitar.
too far for me to walk.
Rhonda is having a birthday. I think it might only be a 40th or a 45th this Sunday.
Happy birthday, Rhonda.
Happy birthday, Rhonda. Happy birthday. Anybody else good news? Do you have any good news? It's not a lollipop, but that's okay.
That was Shayna. Shayna thought the microphone was a lollipop.
Any more good news? Yes, we have some good news.
Oh, Gail didn't know.
My good news is after 3 weeks of trying on the last 3 Fridays with rain, I had an 18 round of golf with my grandson today. And just as we were getting done, the thunder came, but we got the 18 holes in.
Good job. Congratulations.
I guess
That
for
is good.
golfers, that's good news. Oh, we have some more good news. Yes.
My name is Jack, and I've been an only child for 3 weeks. Because my sisters are at camp.
It's that camp. That's cool. I can understand that.
Vans had lots to celebrate. Josh and Kat got married.
Mazel tov. Right.
And it was Richard's birthday
That's right.
and Stephanie's 3rd anniversary.
That's right.
So-
What a week.
Because every daughter should get married on their father's birthday.
That's right. Mazel tov.
Well, congratulations. That's great. Well, I'm sure there's more good news for everybody,
Anybody pressing news? Any good news?
but we'll get along with our service.
All right. So what we do after the good news, everybody feel better? You feel at peace, right? You feel at peace now, peaceful, especially you feel a little cooler that you came inside. Many of you were outside. I didn't realize so many people were inside. If I did, I would have come in sooner, but we want to welcome the angels of peace. So we'll turn in our Siddur room to page 13. Rabbi, should we do this in a special way?
Sure. Any of you kids want to come up a little bit and sing the Shalom Aleichem? And
Join us.
We'll have you stand right here. Yeah, over here. Okay.
Page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon.
Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seichem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
We got to keep going because Shana just came up.
Yes.
Kadosh
Kadosh baruch hu.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Beautiful, huh?
Nicely done.
Okay, you guys can go back down.
Thanks. That was beautiful, kids.
So what we're going to do is we're going to continue now with our Kabbalah Shabbat. That'll only take a few more minutes, and then we'll get you downstairs, the younger family. So let us turn right now together to page 14, and we'll sing Yedid Nefesh with Rabbi Bernie, page 14.
Yedid nefesh av harachaman mishach avdach el ritzonach yaharutz avdach kimo ayal yishtachaveh emu hadarach yerav lo yedidutach minofet suf b'chol tam. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dai.
Let's read the Sabbath prayer together, page 14 at the bottom together. Dear God,
Dear God,
help us now to make this a new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat. Lechuna Ranana, page 15.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu nerana ladonai, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu nerana ladonai. Naria, Naria, Litzo Yishenu, Nikadma, Fana, Betoda. Naria, Naria, Litzo Yishenu, Bismi wrote Naria lo, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Nerana Ladonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, ladonai. Arbayim shana akut b'dor v'omar am toev levavhem v'hem lo yadu drachai Hashem nishpati v'yapi im yiva'un el menuchati.
Now that was Hebrew and now in English on page 16. Let us read responsibly, page 16. Sing Sing a new song to Adonai, acclaim Adonai, all people on earth.
Sing to Adonai, proclaim each day God's awesome might, announce to the world God's glory and wonder.
For Adonai is great, deserving of praise. Adonai alone is to be revered as God.
All the gods of the nations are nothingness, but Adonai created the heavens.
Majesty and might accompany God's splendor and strength adorn God's sanctuary.
Acknowledge Adonai, all families of nations, acclaim God's majestic power. Acknowledge God's glory and bring him tribute.
Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence.
Declare to the world Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world which stands firm and judges all nations with fairness.
Let the heavens rejoice. Let the earth be glad. Let the sea and all it contains exult.
Let field and forest sing for joy. Adonai comes to rule the earth, to rule the world justly, the nations with faithfulness. Yismechu hashamayim b'tagel haaretz Yeram hayam umla'o Yalo sadai v'chol hashebo Hajirananu kol hatzeyar Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz Yishpotei b'tzedek v'yamim be'emunato.
And now we'll turn to page 20. We're going to ask you all to rise. Page 20 for Mizmor LeDavid.
It's Mola David. Cassie taught me this tune. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu Ladonai b'nei Elim, Havu Ladonai kavod va'oz, Havu Ladonai kevod shemo, Yitzchachavu Ladonai b'hadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai b'koach, Kol Adonai b'hadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, v'yishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon. Vayakiden kimo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion, kimo, Ven re'emim. Kol Adonai chotzev lahabotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yechol el hayamot. Vayechesov ye'arot, uv'hechalo kulo, omer kavod. Adonai lamavu yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai yos le'amoyitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
And now you may be seated. We're going to do Lecha Dodi. And after Lecha Dodi, we're getting close to breaking up with each other. Breaking up. It's hard to do.
Yes.
But
we'll
after
get it
Lecha
done.
Dodi, we'll be there. After Lecha Dodi, we'll do one more psalm. All right. Lecha Dodi, page 21, every other stanza.
Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. P'nei Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, kishmiyanu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'lit hila, lecha dodi likrat kala. P'nei Shabbat nekabela, Migdash melechim melucha, kumitzi'i mitoch hafecha, Rav lach shevet be'emek havacha, v'hu yachamol alayichem la, lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, kiva ore kumi ori, ori, shidaberi, kivod Adonai alayik nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, v'hayulim shisa sho sayich, v'rachaku komivalayich, Yasi salayach Elohayich, Kim soschatan al kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela.
And we turn toward the entrance of our congregation as we are now entering or welcoming the Shabbat bride as she enters our sanctuary. Let us sing together. Bowie.
Oh, we v'shalom materet bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzahala, toch emunei am segula, bo'i chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela.
And at this time, you may be seated. We'll turn to page 23, one more psalm together, and then we'll split. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God.
To affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp.
Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation.
How vast your works, Adonai. Your designs are beyond our grasp.
The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this.
The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass, but their doom is sealed, for you are supreme
Your
forever.
enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble.
But me you have greatly exalted. I'm anointed with fragrant oil. I've seen the downfall of my foes, and I've heard the despair of my attackers.
And the righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They will thrive in the courts of our God.
And they shall bear fruit even in old age, and they shall be ever fresh and fragrant, to proclaim, Adonai is just, my rock is no flaw.
We're going to sing Tzadika Tamar together, page 23, 4 lines from the bottom.
Tzadika Tamar Yefrach Ke'eres Bavanon B'veit Adonai B'chatrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvon B'Seva D'Shenim V'Rananim Yeyu Lehagin Ki Asher Adonai Tzori V'lo Avla Tabo.
One more psalm, page 24.
Eidotecha ne'amnu me'od levecha nava kodesh Adonai le'orech yamin.
And now on page 24, those of us who are saying Kaddish for a yortzeit or a loved one will stand as we recite the words of the mourner's Kaddish together, page 24.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'b'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'le'el maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kedusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata ta'am niram v'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen.
Amen. Now, Rabbi Bernie, do you have any final words to say to the crowd before you take the folks downstairs?
No. Yes, good Shabbos, yes. No,
What kind
it's
of a
great.
rabbi doesn't have something to say.
Yes, of course, I can go on for a long time, but no, it's great that we have so many people that we can actually split up now and have two services.
So let's go. Those of you that are going downstairs with Miss Alyssa, Alyssa, and with Callie, Cassie, Alyssa, and also Rabbi Bernie. Go right ahead. Just be careful of the wires. The rest of you folks are stuck with me. You know, we don't like to talk about people behind their back, but weren't they adorable? They really are. They really are adorable. We're going to turn to page 28. Page 28, we'll ask you to please rise now as we begin the Baruch Hu, page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevarach. Baruch Adonai HaMevarach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue silently. Umavir Yamamevi Laila. Umavdil Ben Yamaven Laila. Adonai Tzebaot Shemo. El Chabekayam Tamid Bloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai. Amari Baravim. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael. Amcha Avta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shachbeinu u'vkumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, Le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, u'vahem negeh, yomam v'layla, v'yavatchal tesumenu le'olamim. Baruch Ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'vlechtecha v'derech u'v'shafbecha u'vkumecha. Ukshartam laot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtaptam amuduzot beitecha u'visharecha. Continuing silently to the bottom. L'man yirbu yimechem v'yimei benechem al ha'adama asher nishba Adonai. L'avotechem lated lahem kimei shamayim al ha'aretz. Page 31. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yamarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdehem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit al kanaf b'til techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit uritem oto v'schartem ekol mitzvot Adonai v'yasitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'yacharei einechem asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkeru v'yasitem ekol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 32. U'malchuto b'ratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe b'nei Yisrael lechanu shira v'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot Osei pele malchut karavu vanecha okeyam lifnei Moshe ze Elianu v'yamru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'nemar ki v'Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Let's read the Hashkivenu together in English, page 33. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace. Awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ushmor tzeitenu, hovainu, l'chaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'yad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, baruch ata Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'yal Yerushalayim. Page 34, let's rise for Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael Lasot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam Oti leolam Oti leolam Bishamru את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו. לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש ושמרו. לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויעמד ויברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכם וביומכם ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר וירומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקדושה בריחו לילה מנחה וחטא ושירתה תושבחתה דמירן דיאמה ויאמרו Amen. And now the Amida is silent, beginning page 35, A or B, your choice, right through to page 38. The Amida is said privately. It's also appropriate time for personal and private words, private messages to God, and meditation. 35. For those of you still reading, please continue to do so privately and at your personal pace. Page 38, top of the page. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol eid u'b'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Let's read together page 38 in the middle, the passage after the Amida to the word Redeemer, and then we're all going to sing that song of peace. My God, keep my tongue from evil, my lips from lies. Help me ignore those who would slander me. Let me be humble before all. Open my heart to your Torah that I may pursue your mitzvot. Frustrate the designs of those who plot evil against me. Make nothing of their schemes. Act for the sake of your compassion, your power, your holiness, and your Torah. Answer my prayer for the deliverance of your people. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemaru. Amen. May the one who brings peace to his universe bring peace to us, to all the people of Israel. V'al kol yoshvei tevel, and all who dwell on earth, and let us together say, Amen. Well, as you know, during the week now that we're back live here, we stopped doing the prayer for healing during the weekday because it's in the Amida, right? It's part of the Amida. And so you do the petition at that point there. On Shabbat night, it's not there because we don't really do petitions on Shabbat. We don't do those types of things except at the Torah tomorrow morning. But we're going to do it here because it's our new custom. Because we have people who need refuah shlema, they need healing, and we need to pray for them at all of our services, and we need to continuously do that. So I'm going to say the words. When I stop, if you wish to say the name or names of people who need healing or refuah shlema, the people you're praying for, please say their names either out loud or in your heart, whatever. Et כל החולים בקהילה הקדושה הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחזיקם ולפרותם וישלח למרע רפואה שלמה מנשמה יפרט הנפש יפרט הגוף בתוך שחרי ישראל שבת היא מלזעוק ופור קרבו לבוא השתה והגל בזמן קריב ונאמר amen. May God bring blessing and healing to those that we just mentioned, those that we know of, those we may not know of, those we pray for on our personal lists daily, those who suffer illness within the congregational family. May the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and the vigor, granting them physical and spiritual well-being together with people everywhere who may be ill. Mi shebeirach avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebeirachimotenu Mekor habracha leyamotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Now we'll turn to page 47. We'll ask you to rise for Vayechulu. Please rise, page 47. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam. Vayechal Elohim hayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa. Vayishpot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa. Vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto ki bo shabbat mikol melachto ki bo shabbat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Konei Shamayim Va'aretz. You may be seated. Magen Avot Bidvaro Mechaye Meitim B'Mamaro Ha'el HaKadosh She'en Kamohu Hameniach Le'yamo B'Yom Shabbat Kodsho Ki Vam Ratza L'Haniach Lahem Ki Vam Ratza L'Haniach Lahem Lefanav nabod ve'yirav afachad v'nodeh lishmo b'chol yom tamid me'yan habrachot el ha'hodaot Adon hashalom mekadesh hashamar Mubarek Shemi, Umeniach B'Kedusha, Le'yamedu Shnei Oneg Zecher L'Masei B'Reishit. Eloheinu v'Elohei Aboteinu, Ritzevim Nehuchateinu, Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'techalkeinu b'toratecha, Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'techalkeinu b'toratecha, Sabeinu mitubecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, Sabeinu mitubecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, v'taher, v'taher libeinu, v'taher, v'taher libeinu, v'taher, v'taher libeinu li'avdecha be'emet, v'taher, v'taher libeinu, v'taher, v'taher libeinu, v'taher, v'taher libeinu li'avdecha be'emet, v'hanchileinu Adonai Eloheinu b'yavah u'b'ratzon Shabbat Kodshecha, V'yanuchu v'Yisrael mikadshei shemecha baruch, Ata Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 48. Yikara v'yikara shemei rabbah. V'yalma divrachirutei v'yamachmaktei b'chaychon v'yamechon v'karechol Beit Yisrael b'galau b'zman kari v'yamaru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lam me'omaya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalav shmei kodesh shabarichu le'olam yikol b'chata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechmata d'amiram b'yamav v'yamru. Amen. Tika baso donovoton decha Yisrael katam v'honi b'shmai v'yamru. Amen. Yeheshtam rabba min shemai yavachayim alei v'akol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. Time for Kiddush. Please rise, page 49. As we sanctify God with the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshar b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu. V'shabbat kodsho b'yava u'bratzon inchilanu zikaron lemaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Ivanu b'charta Yotanu kidashta mikohamim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yahava u'bratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. It's old. You may be seated. That's pre-pandemic. Whew. They say wine gets better with age. Nope. Not Manischewitz. Nope. Oh, I can't say that. All right. So I'm going to give you a little bit of Torah at this time, talking about Devarim. We Jews call the fifth book of Torah, Sefer Devarim. The rest of the world calls it the book of Deuteronomy. That sure sounds Greek to me. That's because Deuteronomy is Greek, the word that means repetition or review. Our scholars decided millennia ago to name our literature after the first significant word. In this case, it's Devarim, which could mean many, many things, but we usually translate it to mean words. Also, the majority opinion is that this last book of Torah was written by Moshe as opposed to God, as they believe the rest of the Torah was done. Many of the sages say the fifth book could not have been written by Moshe because his funeral is described in the end. How can a person write about what happened at their very own funeral? Maybe Yoshua or Caleb wrote it. Look, the truth is this. Nobody really has any idea who actually wrote it. But whoever it was, its creation certainly had to have been assisted by God. The one thing we do know is that the fifth book of Torah is different than the rest because it's written using different tone of voice and more advanced idiomatic expressions. It also uses basic words and grammar differently than we saw in the other four books. The scroll of Sefer Devarim was found during the days of Yeshaya HaMelech, King Josiah, sometime around 622 before the Common Era. It was when Hilchah HaKohen and his crew were cleaning and purifying the Beit HaMikdash that the corrupt and idol-worshiping Achav HaMelech and Isabel HaMalkah, King Achav and his queen Jezebel, had desecrated the temple. During this time, the Kohanim found which had already become an ancient scroll. It was hidden in an obscure corner of the Aron Kodesh with the rest of the Torahs. When they started to read this fifth scroll, they realized that it had to be part of the Torah and must have been misplaced or lost. When they studied this, they found the scroll and they studied it more deeply. They were convinced of its authenticity. Even at the tender age of 80 years old, when Yoshiyahu assumed the title Hamelech, he already realized that Achav and his followers did everything that they could to remove God from the lives of the Jews. And that is why Yoshiyahu Hamelech decreed that everyone needed to rend their clothing and repent. Regardless of who wrote it, what is the book of Devarim anyway? Is it actually Moshe's final speech? He's now 120 years old, 120 years old. He knows that he will not be allowed to go to the promised land. Moshe is coming to terms with this fact that he was the leader of the past, and now it's time to make new leadership change for the future. That person, of course, will be Yoshua ben Nun, Joshua, the son of Nun. So here we are. As Moshe begins his final oration, there are between 3 and 6 million people in the valley of Moab preparing to cross the Yarden to occupy the promised land. They're expected to face a small and large skirmish along the way to their new homeland. Their new homeland, our homeland, Eretz Yisrael. But there was a fight along the way. Bnei Yisrael understands that the only leader they have known for their entire life is now an old man, and his days are numbered. In addition to Moshe having been the only ruler that they've ever known, they also know that he had a very personal and unique relationship with God. They're completely aware that nobody else on earth has or had that kind of relationship with our God. And now they're worried. What are they going to do without Moshe? Remember that none of these millions of people were actually in Mitzrayim. Moshe knew that these people had never experienced slavery and the oppression that had been rained upon their parents, that they never witnessed the 10 plagues. They did not experience the revelation at Har Sinai. Their parents, their grandparents, they had passed. Even more alarmingly, Bnei Israel's survival was because of the clouds of glory, the traveling spring, the manna, the quail for their entire lives. They knew this would not follow them into the land flowing with milk and honey. As Sefer Devarim opens, Moshe, according to our sages, is still sharp, and his eloquence has not left him. Moshe knows that this will be his last opportunity to convince these people to remain as people of God. He also wants them to know that they've been given the required tools to accomplish all that is necessary. The problem at hand is How is Moshe going to do all of that? Not only must he inspire the nation spiritually, but he must also avoid making things worse, possibly causing a panic. So what does he do? Moshe gives a history lesson. History. He starts at the beginning, explaining what went on in Mitzrayim. And then he tells them how God presents the future that lies ahead for them, but that they must be convinced that it will all work out only if they follow God's mitzvot. I need not tell you that this would not be an easy task. Already, there had been a change in the laws of inheritance, and the two tribes decided that they do not want to have any intention of going to the promised land. They were already skirmishing. Even so, Moshe knew that he had to try. So try he did. And that is what Sefer Devarim is all about. It's a record of what Moshe told them. He started with a brief review of history. We must never forget history. He reviewed halacha, and he added about 75 more mitzvot. Finally, he impressed upon Bnei Israel that they must work together, and trust in Adonai. All of this is read as our calendar closes in on the 9th of Av, the second most important fast day next to Yom Kippur. It is the most serious day of mourning on the entire Jewish calendar. Devarim is followed by a rip-snorting barn burner of a Haftorah by Isaiah. Yeshiva University's Rabbi Mendel Hirsch points out that Yeshayahu, in the midst of all of his fire and brimstone, is less concerned with the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash and of Yerushalayim than he is about what effect it had on us. Is there a reason that the timing of this Parsha Devarim comes just before Tisha B'Av, the fast that begins tomorrow night, right after Shabbat? Is there a reason for that? The answer may be right in front of us. Perhaps we should consider this a most opportune time to listen to Moshe one more time. Tomorrow night after Shabbat and Sunday all day, Jews around the world who care will be reminded of the destruction of the two temples and their exile from Yerushalayim. If we pay attention, though, to the story of discovery, of the story of Devarim, we will see that God had already anticipated the destruction of the first temple. How do we know this? We're told that Yeshayahu and his court rend their clothes and wept before me. I, for my part, have listened, declares Adonai. For sure I will gather the king to your fathers, and you will be laid in your tomb in peace. Your eyes will not behold the disaster I will bring on this place. This is actually from the second book of Kings, chapter 22, verse 19 and 20. Sure enough, about 35 years later, shortly after the death of Yeshayahu HaMelech, King Nebuchadnezzar ransacked Jerusalem and destroyed the temple. The second temple was destroyed because the people were involved in sinat chinam, or baseless hatred. Baseless hatred. I never use that word, you know. There's no place for hate. Number of times in our Torah, it tells us that we will do tragic things that will bring disaster upon ourselves. Why? Because we are human beings and as such extremely fallible. God does not need to lift a finger to get us into trouble. We can do all of that by ourselves. And over the years, we have, and we are now. The thing is, we need God to help us get back on track. So as we ponder our future tomorrow evening and Sunday during the fast of Tisha B'Av, let us think about this very seriously. Let us not give up hope in our future. Let us understand that only by living the mitzvot can we assure fulfilled life both as individuals and as the people Israel. Am Yisrael Chai. In spite of our history, the people Israel live. Let us remember that if it has to be, it's up to me. Shabbat Shalom. And with that, I'll ask you to please rise as we turn to page 51 for Aleinu. Page 51. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol v'tekiru l'yotzer b'reishit. Shelo asanu kibayei ha'aratzot v'lo sabanu k'mishluchot ha'adama. Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'goraleinu kechol hamonam. Anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim livnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu shehu notei shamayim v'yosei haaretz u'moshav yitkaro b'shamayim mimah Ushkinatu zo b'gavei merolim Hu Eloheinu eino Ememalkeinu efesulato Kavaltu b'torato Yadata yom v'hashevota el lavavecha Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim Hashamayim nimah V'al haaretz mitach areinu Yamachut sh'chayimet imloch b'chabod. Hakatu b'toratecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu niyah Adonai echad. U'shemo You may be seated. This week, the congregation will lovingly remember the yortzites of Muriel Perlman, my mother, Carl Toltz, David Wallman, Shirley Edelman, Esther Cherkas, Bernard Schumann, Harold Block, Arthur Osuski, Anna Shirley Halpern, Lena Levinson, Toba Tolpina, and I believe that's the list. Are there any names that have not been announced? Having said that, may the faith that binds us to our loved ones be a continuing source of comfort as we now invite those mourning or observing a yortzeit to now rise and join me. You may say the name of the person that you're remembering tonight. Again, my mother. As we speak the words of the mourner's Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divra chirutei. V'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala uvizman kariv v'yemru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach. Olam olomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal. Shemei d'kudusha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiran v'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. You may be seated. My pleasure now to call upon Barry Falcoff with tonight's announcement. Barry?
Shabbat Shalom. I think this was a great evening, and thank you to everybody who had a part in all the food preparation and just planning for tonight. It's my first Friday night back, and it was great seeing so many familiar faces, but what was even better earlier was seeing so many unfamiliar faces. Tomorrow morning services are at 9:30, and tomorrow evening Tisha B'Av begins with Mariv service at 8:45, followed by Havdalah at 9:03. Sunday morning Tisha B'Av services begin at 9 o'clock, and there's no breakfast as it is a fast day. And of course, we have minyan every not on Sundays, Sunday morning at 9 a.m., but every evening, Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. We have a lot of events coming up in the next few weeks, and information on these events can be found on our website, as well as all the constant contact emails you get. And some of them are: Men's Club is planning a trip to Foxwood on Sunday, August 8th. Sisterhood is having a game night on Wednesday, August 18th. Men's Club is having Texas Hold'em on Monday, August 23rd. The Religious School is having an ice cream social open house on Tuesday, August 24th. We have a Slichot movie and study here on Saturday evening, August 28th. And the Sisterhood will be partaking of a program on Zoom with the Lappin Foundation Monday, August 30th. And I can't lose an opportunity to remind everyone to return their voluntary member pledge for sustaining our Eternal Flame program. Although as I look around, this group has been pretty compliant. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. We're getting back to normal again, huh? That's great. Nice to see you, Barry. Well, look who's joined us to finish the service, huh? How did it go with the kids?
It was really awesome. It was really great. The kids had a good time, and the adults did too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Page 53, let's do Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimsa v'yeneid el metziuto.
Echad v'yen yachid ki yikudo ne'lam b'gam ein sof li'achduto.
Ein lo demut haguf v'yein haguf lo na'aroch elav kedushato.
Kadmon l'chol davar asher nivra rishon v'yen reshit l'reshito.
Hino Adon Olam b'chol otzar yoreg gedulato u'malchuto.
Shefan v'uato nitano elan shesegulato v'tifarto.
Lo kam Yisrael k'Moshe od navi u'mabid et emunato.
Toratem et natan li'amoel al yad nevi'yad neman beito.
Lo yachal Yifa'el v'lo yamir dato le'olamim lezulato.
Sofer v'yodeya sitarenu mabit l'sof davar b'kadmato.
Gamel leish chesed kemifalo noten l'rasha ra kerishato.
Yishlach l'ketzi amin mishichenu liftod mechakeket Yeshuato.
Meitim Michael Baruch Chasto Baruch Hadei Shem Tehilato.
Meitim Yechael Baruch Chasto Baruch Hadei Shem Tehilato.
And love our God restores the life of all our souls. May God be ever praised until eternity. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Kids running around having a ball.